Well, good morning out there in the interweb. I'm Terry. I'm one of the pastors here. And Craig and I want to talk to you this morning about some of the things that are going on.
Yeah, I'm Craig Carter, one of the other pastors here in the Lynn Haven Church. I do want to say at the start, Terry, that during this coronavirus pandemic, we've been making lots of videos, and folks think we do that, and then we are gone all the time and goofing off. But this is important enough that we wanted to actually do it live. So if you can see this, just want to prove I kind of feel like one of those hostages in a kidnapping case, holding up a newspaper. But it is 9 a.m. on Thursday, May 14th. And Terry and I are here at work, and we have some important news that we'd like to share with you today.
Before I do, I just want to let everybody know that I did just wake them up from the nap for this video. Hey, we've been hearing a lot about Florida, Alabama reopening and places of worship reopening. Tell us about that, Craig. What's that look like for our church?
Yeah, our church staff and other church leaders have been meeting recently. We're discussing some of the guidelines that we've received from both government and denominational officials. Most of all, we've been seeking God's will in this matter. And I would want to say, for us, it's really not going to be a reopening. It's going to be the opening of our newly renovated facility. It's been a really long journey for this congregation over the last 18 months since Hurricane Michael, when we lost both of our buildings. And I know that folks are really looking forward to having a place that we can call home on a permanent basis. And so I'd like to call this kind of a regathering of God's people, since we haven't been together in person for the last couple months. And at the same time, it will be an opening of this new facility, our church home, the former Fusion Fitness. So,
as I read the news and see different things, each state's opening at different levels. Every church seems to be opening at different levels. When can we expect to be back in the worship? Gathering together.
Good. Our target date is Sunday, June 7th. That we're going to hold in-person worship right here in our new church facility, 3203 Minnesota Avenue.
And what will the schedule look like?
Okay, some of those details are still being worked out. But Terry, we are well aware that we can't just simply throw open the doors of the church and say everybody come. And so we're going to work out a schedule, and we're working on that right now so that we can limit the number of people in the building at any one time, meeting some of the occupancy standards that the government and CDC has suggested. We also, while we're here in the building together, we want to practice social distancing. And the really good news for us is this new facility, it's well equipped for us to do both of those things. We have a marvelous new worship center, but we also have a great community room or fellowship hall. We have a next-gen room for our children and for our youth. We have several classroom spaces and a wonderful, expansive lobby area. And every one of those rooms is equipped with TV monitors so that we'll be able to broadcast what's happening in the worship center. If people have to overflow out of that into those other areas, they'll be able to worship together wherever you're at throughout the building.
Yeah, but we said the other day, I think we're perfectly set up. We didn't plan it, but it's perfectly set up.
I think God was taking care of us.
Yes. Now, I know it's on your heart and my heart and many folks about the elderly and the vulnerable population. What are we going to do to accommodate those folks?
Yeah, this church is built on the shoulders of those that have gone before us, and especially some of those longtime members of the church. They do fit in that vulnerable population. I know that many of you are still not going to feel safe venturing outside your homes. And so we're going to continue to offer what we've been offering the last couple of months, a high-quality live stream worship experience. And the really fun part of this is going to be now really live streaming. You'll be able to see what's happening in the worship center and from your home be able to worship right along with us. Another thing that we're certain that we're going to do is that many supermarkets are offering early shopping hours for senior adults. And we're going to do the same thing. We know that we're going to have an early worship experience that's designed specifically for senior adults and people that are in a at-risk category. That way, those folks can come in early. We can worship together, again, practicing social distancing standards. But then those folks can leave before before some of the larger crowds arrive. And so I'm excited about that possibility.
We're not, we talked about a lot. We talked about when we're going to open times, all that kind of stuff. When can we expect more details? I know we're working on stuff. When can the congregation expect more details?
Yeah, just virtually every day. Certainly every week between now and the end of the month, we're going to be rolling out the specifics of what this all looks like. We do need to be flexible because we've learned during this pandemic that conditions change very rapidly. So we're going to roll with the punches, but all the specifics are going to be rolled out on a weekly basis. You'll be hearing either through emails, through letters, through videos such as this. And the main thing that I would ask our congregation is to really be in prayer for us as church leaders, and also be in prayer for our entire congregation as we move towards this target date of June 7th.
Yeah, and as we're talking here, I know it's been a difficult time for us as a staff, but for everybody in Bay County over the last 18 months. We had Hurricane Michael, and we were hit with this pandemic. We all want to get in this building. It's a difficult time, and I do think we've had a lot of practice in this, but I just want to make it clear, we've got to be flexible with each other. We just have to. We're doing things we've never done before. There's no script for this. There's no plan laid out. We were making the arrangements as we go. So just be patient with us and each other. If we need to change something, we will. But we're going to take it a week at a time and do what we feel God's leading us to do.
That's exactly right, Terry. I understand and know that we all have different levels of comfort about venturing out after the stay-at-home order. We have different levels of anxiety about doing that. But I am confident that this congregation is going to do what it's always done. It's going to put God and put others first. And as a result of that, we're all going to make whatever sacrifices need to be made for the good of all, and most importantly, for the glory of God.
I agree, Greg. There's a huge sign in our new lobby that says, "Love God, love others." It reminds me every day what it's all about. And that's what this is about. Whatever our comfort level is, whatever it is, let's just show love to each other. Let's be respectful, and let's get through this time together like God would want.
I just want to remind you, Terry, that as we're loving each other, we need to keep that social distance. Okay?
Yes, sir. All right. Yes, sir. Well, all that's exciting news, all that stuff's great. Is there anything you want to close with this one?
Well, I'm always kind of leery at my age of having the last word because I don't want these to be my famous last words. But the thing that I would want to say to everybody is just to remind you that as we reopen our church's ministries, we do want to be safe. But also, we need to keep in mind that we, as God's people, we do not need to be afraid. God is with us. And this congregation is a living testimony of that, especially over the last 18 months. And as I've said since the beginning of this pandemic, God's got it, and God's got us. And my prayer for this congregation is still the same as it's been from the opening days of the pandemic. It comes from 3 John, verse 2. It's simply this: "Dear friends, I hope and I pray that all is well with you, and that you are as healthy in body as you are strong in spirit." We want folks to be healthy in body, but we also want folks to be strong in spirit, just as this church always has been. And so the final word that I have for you today is kind of a similar message. Just be well, stay strong, keep the faith, and to God be the glory.
Well, thank you all for joining us this morning. We look forward to seeing you on this Sunday at 9:30 on YouTube and Facebook, and we really look forward to seeing everybody again for the first time in the regathering of God's people on June the 7th. God bless.